Tekken is a franchise that's been around since 1994 and has been very popular in the fighting game genre. It's definitely one of the top 30 fighters, I would say, out there. And with its last installment, Tekken 7, that just proved Tekken is a force that's here to stay. Now, if you guys watched the Game Awards, you saw that there was a new trailer released for Tekken 8, and it actually looked really good. I'm just a casual fan of Tekken. Like, I've never delved too deep into it. I have played games in the franchise, with probably Tekken 6 being the one I put the most time into. I do have Tekken 7 as well. I've played a bit of it, but haven't delved a lot into it. But after looking at Tekken 8 and not only the trailer that they showed at the Game Awards, but also at the finals where the producer really, where Harada-san actually released more information and talked a little bit about Tekken 8. I'm actually very intrigued with where Tekken is going to go. So, if you haven't seen it, the footage is available, but I'm going to try and give a little quick summary of what was talked about there and just some personal thoughts with it. So, biggest things is that it's a fight between Jin and Kazuya. And Jin's actually one of the first characters I played in Tekken, and I liked his style and just his moveset. So I'm curious to see where the story goes with this one. Whether this is going to be the conclusion of, I guess, this rivalry and what happens with the story forward. But one of the big surprises with the story this time is a character has returned from a long time ago, and her name is Jun, and that is Jin's mother. At least if I remember reading that correctly. The last time we actually saw Jun in a canon story Tekken game was Tekken 2, and that was in, I believe, 1996 when it 96 when it came out actually here. No, 95, sorry. 95 in arcades, 96 in North America. 96 in North America for PlayStation. So Jun was canon in story then, but she has made appearances in the tag games, but the tag games aren't considered canon, so it's been over it's been at least 25 years, at least, no, over 25, 26 years at the point of this video here, that Jun has appeared in a canon Tekken game, and I gotta say I like her design, and I'm curious to give her a try. I know I have Tag Tournament 2, so I'll have to take a look into that and see how she plays. But maybe it's just me, but doesn't her design, like Jun's design for Tekken 8, almost reminds me of Chizuru's in King of Fighters 15? I don't know if that was intentional or anything, but I do like that look. So I'm curious to see how that turns out. They did also show off other characters that have been returning. So Jack, King, not King from KOF, which is what I got it confused with at first. But yeah, King's there. Paul's gotten a redesign. Law is also there, and so is Lars. And I gotta admit, some of the designs here actually look really cool. Paul's lost his long hair, but as stated, I believe there's going to be a costume where he actually gets his like skyscraper hair again. So that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be cool to see. I also want to see who else is going to make the roster this time, or if they're going to be including new characters, which I would hope that's at least going to be some for this game. Because Tekken's always brought in, it seems like, new characters throughout, especially looking at like Tekken 6 and Tekken 7, for example. Now, one of the things they have stated is that this game is to be focused on aggression, so I'm assuming that means more focus on offense with it, maybe less of a footsies game. But there's one thing I liked with Tekken, and this was watching the Tekken 7 finals at EVO. Tekken is a fun game to watch, but it also seems like it's pretty fun to play. Wish I could say that for some other titles. But Tekken is fun, and it seems like the focus is more on offense, and that also ties into some of the other systems. So, like one of those systems being the heat system, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the focus is more on aggressive play. But I'm hoping that doesn't leave defense options out of the way. Because I mean, if it's focused pure as aggression, then if you can't really defend against any of that, or maybe find ways to counter that offense. I'm curious to see how that turns out, but I want to hear more about how they focus on aggression, but also make it, give players options with it. So hopefully we'll find more info about that in the future. Destructible environments, I thought that was actually cool. That gave me a little bit of like what happened with Tekken 7, because I know you could destroy the floors and stuff in some of the levels, but it seems like they're taking destruction to a new level, to another level, honestly, when it comes to that. I'm wondering if it will still be multi-tiered stages as well. I feel like that should be there too. But at least visually, it looks striking, and I'm curious to see how it works out into gameplay. And you could probably continue some combos off of that as well. Rage Arts obviously returned from Tekken 7, and those actually look cool. I wonder how they're going to expand upon it here, or if it's going to work the same as it does in Tekken 7. I wouldn't expect too many drastic changes when it comes to that stuff. But I mean, Rage Arts look cool. I think one that actually looked neat when I played was Zafina's. So I'm wondering how they're going to expand upon it. But the new system that they actually introduced is something called Heat. And Heat looked interesting because you saw, for example, like Jack got an extra move, or even say Jin had his moves extended. So it's like he started, then he stopped, and then he continued on from it. So I'm wondering if it can cause like damage resets for combos, or if it works like EX moves. Now they have stated that these are supposed to work differently. These are supposed to work differently per character. So, and they obviously didn't go into too much detail with it here, but obviously more info will be coming with it. But I feel like Heat could be an interesting mechanic. I'm also curious to know if it's tied to a meter, if there's going to be a meter that's tied to how the heat system works, or is there going to be some kind of visual indication on how heat works? But that's something that seems to be expanded upon in the future. And then obviously they made the joke about, hey, why don't we just make it 2.5D? It'll save on resource costs, but Tekken's full 3D, so there's still going to be full 3D movement around the environments. I mean, if you got rid of that, I don't think this would be a Tekken game anymore. This would be something different entirely. Well, that's pretty much the brief summary of what they showed over at during this panel. They said there's going to be revealing more. They don't have a date yet, and I have an idea, or I would like to have an idea of when Tekken should release. I think, if anything, Tekken 8 should come out in 2024 because, like I said, Tekken originally started in 1994. So if Tekken 8 were to come out then, that would mark the series' 30th anniversary. I feel like that also gives them enough time. Like they don't have to rush out for 2023 in order to compete with Street Fighter 6 with that. Give it a little bit of time to breathe unless they want to compete with it, but then that's up to them for that. But like I said, I think Tekken 8 should come out in 2024. Celebrate 30 years of Tekken, and they could make something awesome with it. But yeah, that's thoughts on it. I hope you guys like this video. Tell me, what are your thoughts? Are you excited for Tekken 8? Who do you think's going to make the roster? What do you want to see from the game? Where do you think story's going to go? What do you want for modes? If you have any comments, please leave them below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and like I said, leave your feedback. I'm curious to know what you guys have to say. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.